Hi, how are you?
Okay, great. Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Hi.
This is so surreal. You guys are like my childhood. T2 was one of those movies that I watched when I was a kid. Probably shouldn't have watched when I was a kid, but when I watched it, it just had such a huge impact on me. So to see you here in real life so many years later is so cool. So thanks for coming out, and thanks to everyone here for letting me do this. This is awesome.
Thank you.
So, seeing as you guys have said that this is a direct sequel to T2 and it follows on the story from that, what made you want to come back to the roles of these two huge characters after so many years?
It had been long enough that I thought maybe I would have something new to say as Sarah Connor. You know, the first two films felt very complete, and I didn't really want to mess with that. It sort of diminished returns each time, but here we have 27 years have gone by, and I knew that I could bring something very new as an old woman to Sarah Connor.
I like when she calls herself old woman. Then again, she gets on the set and kicks some serious ass.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, it is just wild, you know, when she comes in like this to the set, and then she changes her clothes, she changes her makeup, puts her weapons around it, and then I'm looking like, I said, wait a minute, what happened here with this transformation? Like a transformation right in front of you, and she becomes this badass woman, right?
Yeah, no,
It's
it was
just unbelievable the way she sells
It was
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
You were kicking serious ass in the movie. It was
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Sure.
How much do you think the characters have changed since then? What's new with them? How have they grown?
I think Sarah Connor has shrunk, actually. I
Really?
mean, truly, she no longer has a mission or a purpose. She still is fighting the machines, but she's not a real fan of humanity either. So
Yeah.
really, I think she has shrunk to just a very small kernel of herself. She's bitter and alone and still on mission, but not the greatest person.
Interesting.
So that's kind of a new journey for her to take, to sort of maybe rediscover a slight bit of her humanity.
Yeah.
I think with Terminator is kind of like an evolution, you know. So you see in the beginning of in Terminator 1, he's just a machine that destroys, and he's just on one mission, and this is to wipe out, you know, her, basically. And in Terminator 2, he's programmed differently. He's there to protect and not to kill. And so each movie he has different kind of is programmed differently, and of course in this movie we see that he's programmed a certain way, but he's been around human beings long enough that he creates his own conscience and starts being able to make his own decisions. And so that's really attractive from a character development, so to speak. So when you talk about what made us get involved in this film, it was a really great story. Jim Cameron definitely was a motivating factor in this whole thing. So he got back involved again. Linda got back involved again. I think so everyone came kind of together, and it made it very attractive.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see you guys on screen again and interacting with each other again. It's so surreal. I think people are really going to like it. They're such huge, iconic characters, and for you two as actors as well to come back to these roles after so long. I'm sure you're aware of the legacy that these characters portray, because you being such a huge action star at the time and being a big guy and everyone looked up to you, and I remember you being like one of the first really strong, badass women that I saw on the screen, and it really formed a really great interpretation since then. So do you guys feel proud of that sort of legacy, and is there a lot of pressure that comes with it when you come back to it?
I am proud. You know, that's not what you set out to do when you're playing a character. You just play the character as hard as you can. So then all of that is sort of heaped upon you later as the film sort of grew in scope and, worldwide appreciation.
Yeah.
So, but doesn't bother me at all to be called one of the first badass women.
I think that it is a dream for any actor to be involved in a project that is bigger than just a movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this has developed this into such hugeness. I mean, this is just gigantic, and I hope it will continue on like that, even without me in it or without Linda or any one of us in it. But I think that just if they come up with really creative stories, that it will continue on. But I mean, I can go literally to any part in the world. It doesn't matter if it is the Middle East if it is in Africa, if it is in China or in Australia or wherever it is, people will say, I'll be back, and people will repeat the Hasta la Vista line and all those kind of things. So it's really amazing of how many people have seen this movie, how many billions of dollars this franchise has made, and how many jobs it has created, how many people it entertained, and so it's really become much bigger than just a movie.
Yeah, and that was actually one of my questions, was to see if people quote stuff back to you all the time. Because you must get it a lot. You must be very aware of all the videos of you going around and people doing so many impressions of you and everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, I sometimes talk to people and I do a motivational speech of some sort, and then I have some questions in the end where people can ask questions, and it usually ends up for the last 5 minutes of them just asking me to go and to call out various different things. Hey Arnold, can you say get to the chopper?
Yeah.
And I'm there, says get to the chopper.
Thank you for that.
Exactly. Or I'll be back.
Yeah.
Or hasta la vista, baby. All this kind of stuff. So I think that people enjoy those lines. But the funny thing is that you never know when you say it in a movie that this will be a very often repeated line. You never know.
Do you get any lines, Linda?
Well, 30 years have gone by where I can't say I'll be back without going, oop. That's like trying to sort of, my inside joke.
Yeah.
You can't say I'll be back without this, that performance and delivery coming up. And then I get to say it in this film.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we had to do it 100 times so I wouldn't sound like Arnold. I mean, we wanted to give it a fresh take, but it is so much a part of our lexicon that, I would just say it, and I'd go, and Tim would go, sounds like Arnold. Yeah. And I go, and he would go, sounds like Arnold. So we had to work really hard to give it our fresh spin.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was so badass, and just dropping the grenade and go. But you mentioned as well giving motivational speeches, because recently I was just browsing around on YouTube and doing stuff, and one of your speeches from a few months ago came up, and it was very motivating about managing your time and having a goal in mind. So I was wondering, over your careers and over your lives, what's the best piece of advice you've been given or that you can impart upon somebody?
Well, I mean, there's really no one thing. I think that the one most important thing is that you work your ass off. Because too many people are looking for shortcuts and for the easy way out. Yeah. They think there's some magic pill out there or something like that, but there isn't. The harder you work, the more you will get. And you learn this from sports. There's no shortcut. If you have to do the reps in weightlifting and bodybuilding. If it is in tennis, you have to play your 5 hours a day. If you play the piano and you want to really get great. I talked to this one girl one time that was 7 years old. I said, how long do you play the piano every day? She says 4 or 5 hours every day. Yeah. So that's why she was great. It's just it's mileage. It's reps. It's just doing it over and over. And the other one is don't listen to the naysayers. Because there's too many people around that always say, you won't be able to do that. Oh my God, no one has ever done this before. It's impossible and all this kind of stuff. So I always give people advice. I always say, don't listen to the naysayers, because you're going to hear it from morning, noon to night. From the time you're a kid on all the way to the end, people will tell you that. They say, just don't listen to it.
Yeah, that's great advice.
He's got it. Got nothing to add to that.
And going forward, I'd like to know what you guys passionate about, whether it be acting or just in life in general, because you got very heavily in politics and environmental stuff, and I'm just always fascinated to hear what people are passionate about, what drives them.
I'm a reader. I love language. I love books, fiction, but great fiction. So I'll go down the whole Man Booker short list, long list, the Pulitzers. I mean, I just love to keep my mind solvent and to be transported by story.
What's your favorite book?
Ooh, I have many, but my most recent favorite is Chinese trilogy, and I can't name the author. He's Chinese. Just go ahead. Called The Three Body Problem.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to read that. A friend of mine read it.
God, what an amazing, arduous journey, but so worth it.
Well, my passions are, all over the place. I mean, I somehow pick always things that are very challenging. Yeah. Like now, environmental issues. It's a very challenging issue to make sure that we're going in the right direction and that we go and reduce greenhouse gases. And I was very happy when I was governor of California that we were able to make a commitment then to reduce our greenhouse gases by 25%. But the year 2020, we were 2 years early, did it all in 2018. And so we try to be like a good example for the rest of the world that you can do it and that you can also be economically successful at the same time. And so this is the kind of, but also other things, political reform things, infrastructure stuff, healthcare stuff that I really got passionate about during the time I was governor.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank
Good luck
you,
with the
Sean.
movie. It was wonderful to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.